Hey, hello everyone. So now let's continue and we're gonna create the groups for the hair. So in this lesson, I'm gonna show you how to plant the guides manually because we are gonna do it like in a manual way because it's much better if we wanna create detail. But I like to start like creating some groups before starting planting the guides, just in case to work much better. So we can like create like let's start with an attribute triangle in points, and this is going to be set density. Okay, so let's apply the float at density node, attribute, and this is going to be like 0. Okay, so now our attribute density is going to be 0. Now we can paint. We can attribute paint and check this node because I'm working in the 18.0 and side effects did a lot of changes. If you are working in another Houdini version, basically you will have like a node which is called paint, which was fantastic, but now it just changed to attribute paint. Okay, but how it works, this one, you go to attributes and you delete the mask and you change it to density. Okay, so now if we bypass the quick shade, we come here, in theory our John Wick is gonna be like 0 density. By pressing shift and right click, we can make our brush smaller or bigger. And by changing the shape to volume, we're gonna go to to screen. And now we have like this flat paint, which is gonna cover the geometry. Okay. Sorry, just much better if you press the surface because the screen is gonna be like completely flat. So the surface is gonna follow, as you can see here, the normals of our geometry. So by start painting, we will create the sections where we want hair. This is gonna be like super fast because we are gonna plant the guides. Okay, so don't be crazy doing this. Okay, this is just I'm showing you that you can paint the density areas and you can create groups from this. Okay, more or less. It's like this. So in the blue purple areas we will not have hair, and in the red ones we will have hair. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, remember that you can smooth the borders of your brush by clicking right click and go to the middle mouse. It's going to be smooth. Now if you press the middle mouse, it's going to smooth the area. Okay, something like that. Maybe it's going to help you in future projects. This is very cool when you are doing animals too, or like creatures. Gonna help you. So now we can smooth in our paintings, more or less. Okay, and by pressing the middle mouse again and clicking on erase, you will be able to delete some parts. Okay, so you have to play with your brush. And of course, if you have like a board, like a Wacom or something like that, it's going to be much better. And remember that in the same brush, in the symmetry tab, we have an enable mirroring. So we will be painting like a mirror. So the stuff that we are painting here is gonna be painted here too. So we can speed the process. But I don't like really much because the human hair and the organic stuff in general, they are not symmetrical perfectly. So it's more, it's a longer process to do it like this, but the result is going to be much better. Okay, so now that we set our density, paint density. Okay, let's create the hair. We can hit the cloth, and here we have our hair preparation. Okay, in the grooming setup that Side Effects did for us, we have to keep in mind that it's important to know that we are going to work with a static geometry in one side and with the dynamic one in the other side. Okay, so let me show you how it works. So this guy is going to be the static guy. So we're going to come here, we're going to create a time shift. Okay, and we're going to make it static, like by going this and deleting the channel. So now this guy is static. Okay, now let's create a transform and let's put it next to the dynamic guy. Transform, let's put it here. Let's move that guy here more or less. Oops. More or less. Okay. And now we can switch this name to hair prep static. And let's duplicate the node by pressing Alt on your keyboard, and let's switch name to dynamic. Okay, so now if we delete the transform and we delete the time shift, here we have the two John Wicks, or the two Bruce Willis guy. One is gonna be static, the other one is gonna be dynamic. The important thing to keep in mind is that we need the same amount of points here and here, okay? Because what we are gonna do is like we're gonna create the hair into the static guy, and then we're gonna transfer that hair into the dynamic. Okay? After this, once the hair is transferred into the dynamic, we're gonna do the simulation of the guides into the dynamic guy. And after this, we're gonna do the final hair generation, which is we are gonna take the guides and we are gonna split it with a lot of hairs. Okay? I'm gonna explain you again in a bit. Okay? So let's set up how it works. So by clicking the first static guy, we select the static guy. And if we go into the grooming, where I don't know where I have, here, hair units. Okay, you can go by clicking here, shelf, and go to hair. Hair units. Okay. So once with our static guy selected, we just click here, add 4. And now Houdini is asking us, now select an animated skin geometry. If you don't have anything, just press enter. So of course we have the animate one. So let's select this guy and let's hit intro. Cool. So here, this is the setup of the grooming, okay? So I'm explaining to you with the shelf tool, but you will see that as more as you are getting used to hair in Houdini, you will create this by hand because it's faster. Okay. But here, I'm gonna explain you how it works into the next chapter. But we have the guides here, and here we have the format guides and the final hair gen, which is this. Okay. So let's stop the video here because I don't want to make it like super long, and I'm gonna explain you the theory now.